What is up, guys? BK Voiceover here, and welcome to the final episode of my 2022 Seahawks Offseason Scenario Series. Today is the culmination of the previous 4 videos that I've done. If you haven't watched them yet, be sure to go back and take a look at those videos. Should be all a part of the same playlist, so be sure to give those like and subscribe if you want to see more content throughout the offseason and into the regular season when that starts back up again. So, the previous 4 videos, if you've watched them before, we started by taking a look at where the Seahawks roster was as it stands now, with no cuts, no re-signings, no free agency signings, no draft whatsoever, and then evaluating our needs based off of that and going from there. So through the past few episodes of this series, we have made some hard cuts, did some re-signings for the team, as well as signing a couple of free agents. And now we're going to finish it off this series by going through and doing my first mock draft of the season, or of the off season. And before we get started, we'll just give a brief highlight of where we stand based off of the decisions we've made in previous videos. So QB, we still do need a backup QB. Jacob Eason is a decent development piece, but we really need somebody. With Russell Wilson missing a few games due to that finger injury, it was a freak injury, but I think we do need some more injury insurance behind him. We could choose to re-sign Geno if we want, but I don't know. I think there are some decent guys we can develop in the draft. We re-signed Rashad Penny, as well as signing Marlon Mack from the Indianapolis Colts. We have DJ Dallas and Travis Homer as your depth. Josh Johnson and Darwin Thompson are probably going to be practice squatters. So we could also, there's room to draft a younger player here. Fullback Nick Ballore staying. Wide receiver, we did strengthen our wide receiver 3 position and take Braxton Berrios from the Jets, as well as all of these additional futures contracts, and then tendering exclusive Reds free agent Penny Hart. We re-signed both Gerald Everett and Will Dissly. We signed Dwayne Brown to a 1-year deal, just because I don't think that any of the tackles available in the second round are going to be able to start day 1, and that's really what we need with our second and third round picks. Didn't really do anything with guard. I did re-sign Phil Haynes to be a backup. Honestly, he might even compete with Gabe Jackson for a starting job. He was a monster at the end of the last season. Ethan Post, we tendered Dakota Shepley. Ethan Posick, we signed to a small deal to be the backup to former Rams center Brian Allen, who we signed to a 3-year, $21 million deal. Jake Curhan is your only right tackle, so that does open up a pretty big need in this draft. Switching over to defense really quick, we got Leo, Carlos Dunlap, Gerald Taylor, Alton Robinson taking it up pretty well. Von Miller, we did sign Von Miller in this scenario, as well as Kerry Hyder, so there is a needed 5-tech. Alex Chongum does not really spark a ton of confidence at that backup spot. We signed Akeem Hicks in the offseason, so Poona Ford's your 1-tech. Akeem Hicks, you're starting at 3-tech. We tendered Brian Monet. Miles Adams could probably be elevated to the practice squad to play that 3-tech position. Gerard Hewitt flashed a little bit during the preseason, so maybe he has something, but we could maybe look to get some more depth at the 3-tech spot and the development piece. As we also cut LJ Collier and Benson Mayoa here. We did cut Bobby Wagner. That saved us about $16.6 million. We moved Jordan Brooks to middle linebacker because that's his natural position. That's where he's really going to shine. He's kind of been playing out of position, and putting him in a situation where he's already not a great coverage linebacker, getting him out of coverage a lot more is going to be beneficial. Moved Cody Barton to will, and Ben Burke-Irvin is by default your strong side linebacker. That's obviously not going to happen because Ben Burke-Irvin did just suffer a catastrophic knee injury in the preseason last year, so we'll be looking in the draft to upgrade him there. We did re-sign both DJ Reed and Sidney Jones, so your cornerback room is pretty well set. You got Trey Brown and reserve. Michael Jackson flashed in his minimal snaps, but we could also look to add another development piece behind these guys. So Ugo Amadi, I mainly just kept him because I didn't really see any decent options in the offseason. However, we could look to improve this position in the draft. Cutting Ugo Amadi could save us an additional $2.5 million this offseason. So yeah, we'll always be looking for more opportunities. I just don't trust John Reed at that position right now. And we also do not have a free safety, or we don't have Quandre Diggs, so we need to look to improve that position currently. So let's go to our mock draft machine and we'll get started. This is going to be a 7-round mock draft, no trades. We're going to be using the draft network just because I think their big board aligns more with how I think the draft is going to go. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. I enjoy doing the live mock drafts more than like the pre-scripted ones just because, yeah, it's a lot more fun. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, Perrion Winfrey, dang, I was hoping to get him. Cameron Thomas is likely going to go in the first round. Boy, Mafe stinks. I really wanted to get him. Texans took Daxton Hill. He was definitely my safety 2 behind Kyle Hamilton. So the way I look at it is these second and third round picks are going to really need to contribute their rookie seasons. So I think that the only players that I would draft in this situation would be safety if there's a fit, or tackle. Sean Ryan is a decent idea, but I don't think he's going to translate to tackle in the NFL. He might be able to compete at right tackle with Jay Curran, but I think we can get additional depth later on. So that is why I am going to go ahead and take my safety 3 in the draft, and that is going to be Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State. I mean, they even say starting free safety lines up really well. I think he's going to fit in really well in Clint Hurtt's defense. Active blitzer as well. I think that you could do some really fun double blitz packages with Jamal Adams. That'd be pretty hilarious to watch. Really smart, a really decent tackler, really long and lanky frame that Pete Carroll loves in his defensive backs. So yeah, we'll take Jaquan Brisker as our first pick here, and we'll see where the rest of them go. Tariq Woolen to the Ravens, perfect sense. He had a really strong combine. I'm surprised how far Nicholas Petit-Frere dropped. Early on, I thought that he would be a fantastic pickup if the Seahawks could get him at 41. But yeah, so let's take a look. Kingsley Nagbury did look good. I don't really see him as much as a 5-tech. I see him more as a Leo, and I think we're pretty stacked with the theoretical Von Miller signing, as well as Dunlap and Taylor. So I think we need more like big ends in this. Now, since we are going to start moving more to a 3-4 defense, let's see who's gone. Jalen Peter, that's fine. Darian Kennard, I see him playing more tackle. He'll probably... I think the 49ers said that they were going to be shopping Laken Tomlinson, so maybe Darian Kennard would fit in as a replacement to him. But yeah, for the most part, they didn't really take any of the guys that I want, which is great because I'm going to take my top edge rusher. Well, actually, let's take a look. We still got Arnold Ebiketie and we still got Drake Jackson. Let's take a look at what tackle prospects we have. We also have Abraham Lucas, and I'm a big fan of Abraham Lucas. But I think if I don't invest deeply in defensive end now, I'm going to regret it, which is why I'm going to take my next highest pick. I'm going to take Drake Jackson at a USC. Normally I would have taken Arnold Ebiketie ahead of him. But man, the film he put on at the combine was just amazing. He's got such amazing bend. Like, he doesn't just win with power. Like, I mean, take a look at this guy. 6'4", 250. He's decently sized for a defensive end. He would fit in a 3-4, which again, Clint Hurtt's focusing more on like a hybrid defense, so he could play outside linebacker or he could play defensive end. So, fantastic pickup, all things considered. I'm surprised how far Myjai Sanders has fallen. I had him as like a late second, early third round pick, and he's just fallen so far. But granted, I don't have him anywhere here. D'Angelo Malone's been a big riser. He was on my board earlier as like a fifth, maybe sixth round pick, and he's just like shooting up boards. Like, he had a great combine, and now some people are projecting him as a late third, early fourth round pick, and I can absolutely see why. He is a little undersized, which I understand there's some concerns there. He also went to a smaller school, so not going to focus on that. So let's take a look at where we are. Spencer Burford. Let's take a look at the tackle prospects that are available. Andrew Stuber. Kellen Deach is still available. Why do they have Kellen Deach ranked so low? We have to take him at here. Kellen Deach, I think he's 100% going to go like late third round. Out of Arizona State, dude's a monster for sure. So, if they don't really invest at center this offseason, I could see an argument for Alec Lindstrom out of Boston College. He has that NFL pedigree, of course. But he's not going to be a day one starter. He's going to be very much a development piece here. He's not super physically dominant. He is a bit undersized for a center. Hopefully he can put on a little more weight, but I don't know how much he can get on that frame. Corner, I could see an argument for corner as well. But I think I got to take the best tackle on my board. So let's go. Well, no. Best tackle, I already took Kellen Deach. What am I doing? We need to address that strong side linebacker position. And I think the best way we can do that... Mike McFadden is a decent option. I could take him later, but he's more of a Mike, not really a strong side linebacker. I usually prefer strong side linebackers with a bit more pass rushing upside. Sanborn is also a decent decent option. Mike Rose could also be a very intriguing choice. He is a little smaller, but honestly, I think we can focus on this a little later. Retrospect, maybe oh no, they already took. I think somebody already. Yeah, the Chiefs already took J.C. Lukita. I just love these Penn State guys. I don't know what it is. Anyways, so let's get off a linebacker. What are some other positions? Wide corner is also another position. Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba himself. He didn't test out super well at the combine, but I think he's gonna go right around the 4th round. I think this is a pretty decent spot, but I think there are some other places we can go. Let's see, corner. I could go guard here. Well, we already took. We could take Donovan West. He could also play guard for us in a pinch, which is pretty decent. I think I'm gonna go probably the best option available. I'm gonna take. Screw it. I'm gonna take Josh Joby, cornerback out of Alabama. Definitely not like he's almost there at like Pete Carroll's prototypical like center prospect. I know he didn't have like a fantastic 2021 season, but I think if there's anybody that can get the most out of somebody like Joby, it's Pete. He's a defensive back guru, if anything else. As much as we like to tarnish the name of Pete, there's one thing that he does really well. It is developing. It's absolutely developing defensive backs. I know they have him more as like a press man coverage corner, but I think that they could make him fit decently well in this season, or in Pete Carroll's system. So all picks. Now we are at 152. I think you got to take the best player on my board available, and that's got to be Hassan Haskins, the running back out of Michigan. As amazing of a finish to last season as Rashad Penny has, he's proven that he has the injury bug and he's not a reliable bell cow like all the way around. Carson, in this scenario, we had him just retiring from the NFL because of that neck injury. So, need all the young running back depth we can get, and I think we're going to probably have some of them more along the lines of like a running back by committee. Please don't take Tyquan Thornton. Please don't take Tyquan Thornton. Ah, damn. Just missed Tyquan Thornton. All right, so let's just go over before our last pick. So we have our starting free safety, a great edge rusher that I think could make a big impact on day one. Kellen D should developmental tackle for us. He could play left or right tackle, I think. He has a decent enough frame that he can put on a little more weight. I think he'll be a decent backup. Josh Jobe, a good development piece at corner. Hassan Haskins, another potential bell cow running back. Or not necessarily bell cow. I think he'll be great in more of that gap power scheme that the Seahawks like to run. I know that Andy Dickerson's trying to get into more of that zone blocking scheme, which I am all for. So, Hassan Haskins, would be a great pickup there. And in this case, I think we just try and take the best player available. At this point, I'm just trying to take like more development pieces. Who do I think can really improve going forward? And that is why I really, really, really like Amari Barno. 6'6", 245, but he ran a 4.3 640 at the combine. Dude is lightning fast for his size and weight. Like, I think he's a great development piece. The fact that he's still here in this scenario, we just gotta take him. You could also try and convert him to Sam. If they want to move Darrell Taylor to Sam as well, I think that Amari Barno could be a great pass rush specialist for this team. Also, I've just heard non-stop how, like, oh, no matter what, you gotta take, like, this draft is so stacked at defensive end. If you're great at edge, still take one. And I'm going to take two here just because I like potential. So just to recap, 41, we took safety Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State. 72, we took Drake Jackson, defensive end out of USC. We took Kellen Deesh, tackle out of Arizona State. Josh Jobe, cornerback out of Alabama. Hassan Haskins, running back out of Michigan. And Amari Barno, defensive end out of Virginia Tech. And with that is going to conclude my first mock draft of the offseason and our 2022 offseason scenario series. So really appreciate you guys for watching. If you like the video or you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the like button below and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified whenever I post new videos. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your night and go Hawks.